Hello there, YouTube. Charlie Brawley back at you with another video. Hope everyone is doing fine, staying safe, and out of the storm that we're currently facing. So, I want to talk real quickly about the 500,000 real roulette practice spins, and also about the concept of being patient. And why do I tell my students, and why do I always say be patient? So I'm going to talk about both. But to get started real quick, first of all, let's talk about the download, the 500,000. I was looking for this file, and a few of my students have it, and of course, other people who may ask me for it. But I was looking to try and re-download it. I was trying to send someone there to try and download it, and they couldn't find it. So I wanted to make it available here. You can go to the website, permutationspro@gmail.com. Let me see if I can push that back so you can see it. There you go. Permutations Pro, permutationspro.com. The email is gmail.com. So you can go here, you can download it, and it looks kind of like this here, where you have 500,000, 500,000, as you can see. Well, maybe you can't see it. Let me do this so you can see it. Right here, 500,000 entries, and so it's pretty. It'll save you some time in practice. I put it that way. So you could marry what you do against it. Look at how many spins it takes you to win. Blah 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 blah. And then also, if you are decent with Excel, you can be even more elaborate with it and create your own scenarios, which I'm sure a few of you have. But for those who have not, you want to get this software. Well, not software, the spreadsheet. Just go to Permutations Pro. Come right here, download it. Also, too, I know you probably see new special pricing during tough times. There was a person who had asked me, why did I lower the price? I mean, it's literally because of tough times. So I understand people want things, but at the same time, they want to be able to do this and still conserve, for unforeseeable future. I get it. I was that person. I lived a very tough life at one point. So when things were down, yeah, any help you can give is worth it. So, but hey, if you want to play the regular price, by all means, I will accept it. But for those who did want any of the programs, you just come to the website. I've actually redid the site, so you should be able to just go in and make the purchase, and it should be pretty easy if that's what you're looking for. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is, why do I tell folk, or why do I preach patience in roulette? Well, number one, it's because roulette has a limited variable system. It's only 36 if you exclude the zeros. If you include them, it's about a 30. The zeros may include maybe like a 3.67% anomaly in the whole thing, or something like that. But it's not that big of a deal. But when I talk about variables, we're talking in the 90s, so 95, 97%. That's pretty steep, and these variables never change. So when they don't change, the concept of patience is required, particularly when you have a good strategy. I'm gonna look up the word patience real quick. Oh, wow. Okay. That's scary. Look at the word patience. The capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting emotional, angry, or upset. Okay. You're not going to win every single spin. Okay. So for the time that you did not win, it's going to be a delay. Okay. If you should lose twice, it's going to be a delay. And if you continue to lose, it's going to be some trouble and suffering. But you can't get angry or upset in being patient, because the concept of patient is the capacity to accept or tolerate it, delay, trouble, or suffering. Now, in the game of roulette, the only issue that you should have with patience is the delay, meaning allow the game to create virtual losses for you. That will take time. Okay, so there will be a delay. But if you're impatient, that will lead to trouble and suffering. And because of the trouble and the suffering of the misunderstanding of why you're being patient, you will get angry and upset. And then that will lead to the dark side. And then you end up blowing bankrolls and so much more. So patience is a virtue. There it goes right here. Patience is a virtue. So when I say be patient, play the patience game. That means to do so without getting emotional, understanding that the time that you spend being patient and waiting for the right opportunities only reduces your risk. Okay. And when you increase your risk, you run into more trouble and suffering. All right. So listen, guys, just wanted to throw that in there because I always use the term patience. And what made me think of this was because I've responded back to a few emails, and I often use, you need to be patient. So I wanted to be clear on what I mean by being patient. Being patient is not sitting there and just doing nothing. There's a reason for you to be patient. You need to understand what that reason is. So a way to understand that is to download the the 500,000 spin file and study your method against the file. Okay. And then if you see where a win comes every 50 spins, well, how much time is 50 spins in the real world? Was it an hour? So you kind of get an idea of where your breaking points are in terms of time based upon your strategy and obviously based upon your money. So if you don't have a lot of money, you need to afford more time. If you got a lot of money, you could bend time a little bit. You could play more. But if you don't have a lot of money, you need to be more patient. Patience is for people who don't need to lose as much so quick, or who don't have it to risk so fast. So patience is saying, I'm going to reduce my risk to make the best choice instead of playing every single choice, knowing that the risk is 99.9% chance I will not win every single opportunity. Pretty simple. Don't make it that difficult. I often say that right now the stock market is down, but people are still winning at roulette. If I haven't said this once, I'll say it again, but this might be our water. This might be what we need to get over, because the truth of the matter is I don't see the world changing from the shape that it's currently in. It might get better, but under different circumstances. And because of that, this new technological world that we're moving into, millions are not going to make that. They're not going to make that mark. So you've got to be really wise on your present and your future and what that looks like. The casino is going into the future. Your job or business may not. Okay, if you are a stockbroker or you're trading, the risk calculation on making sure every trade works is something that you cannot control. I know it looks stupid. I know it sounds crazy to think you can do this with roulette because it's a game. It's a casino. We've been taught that on purpose. Okay, but they never gave you perspective. If you beat roulette one time, you beat the game. So what are the variables of quote unquote beating according to the people who say you can't? Because if you never played again, the game didn't beat you, you beat it. Even though you've only played once. So don't be so mentally distressed over what people tell you and negativity. It's all perspective. There's a negative. I could create a negative perspective. I mean, that's kind of easy to do, but there's the reason why there's a left and a right, an up and a down. There's this thing called polarity. There's the good and the evil, the in, the out, the yin and the yang. There's a reason for all that. It's just what is it that you choose, and that's one of the reasons why with data and analysis, the concept of permutations was created. Even though I'm not saying I created permutations, but from a perspective of roulette, I'm sure other people have thought of the concept, maybe just not termed it this way. But when you have limited variables, that's the concept of permutations, right? So anytime that happens, it's all an issue of time. Okay, so that goes back to my whole concept of being patient. All right, guys, if you need anything else from me, permutationspro@gmail.com, or like I said, biggest thing is go ahead and download that file, get your practice on. If you need anything from me, permutationspro@gmail.com. Again, guys, stay safe. Keep your mind and your spirits light, and your heart. Stay happy. Okay, cut off the BS for a little while and take the time to yourself to be with the people who most matter right now. All right. Till the next time. Take care.